Let me preface this video by saying nobody wanted to touch this story with a 10-foot pole. Okay, carry on with the video. The story I'll be telling about is my first-hand view into the story of a clout-chasing individual named Raintism. The first time I ever seen his name mentioned was when he was arguing back and forth with Augie RFC on Twitter. At this point, a small group had emerged calling themselves the Urine Club. Basically, the group would call out people in the commentary community. Essentially, Rain burned any potential bridges he had with Augie during that time. Not long after joining the Urine Club, the YouTuber named Rain ended up leaving the group on rather bad terms. If that wasn't bad enough, in an attempt to suck up to Augie, he tweeted, "I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to dox me because I called him a bubble-blowing baby." Basically, Augie and a few others were calling Pugnant a doxer, and Rain wanted to try to join in for clout and sucking up reasons. Rain went on to apologize to Pugnant.
Okay, I'll do it. Ask the question again?
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you sorry for? Raintism.
Pugnant, I apologize for, echoing the false rumor of you being a doxer and upsetting you with the fact of keep calling you a doxer. My actions were pretty cringe, I'm not gonna lie. And they're pretty irrational of me to do it. I'm not gonna make excuses for it. It's pretty immature behavior on my half. But you know what? I will take the right steps forward to not only learn from my mistakes, but gain the full context of certain situations in general, gain the full context of situations in general, so I know 100% truth about it, and I would hope you do the same thing on your end as well.
But the damage was already done. He burned yet another one of the few bridges he had left, along with, you guessed it, faking a heart attack.
We're going to give you a clean start here if you honestly admit to anything you've done, okay? Was the heart attack thing fake or was it real? Because you have no proof of it at all except from your word, which isn't that truthful and, trustworthy.
And no one buys it.
It was fake. It was fake. It was fake.
The next point in the story was subsequently what would come back to haunt Rain. Late one night, he was bragging about having sex or doing the deed with someone. He went on to say that he had sexual relations with semi-big YouTuber's ex, referring to Mumpy Jones' ex-girlfriend. After people had told him that she had done some shady stuff in the past, that's when his story suddenly changed. Myself and many others noticed the inconsistencies in his stories. However, the fear of getting it wrong kept most people quiet. His story changed so often it became virtually impossible to believe him. There were screenshots of him saying it was sex, there were screenshots of him saying she flew out to his house, that he was drugged and taken advantage of, that there were multiple times and multiple occurrences, and that the last time he did not consent. Honestly, his story was all over the place, and along with the fact that he privatized his podcast episode where he talked about the situation. Seemingly very sketchy. Why would he try to hide the episode where he talked about this occurrence? A few things to note: there were moments where he was bragging, trying to seem cool, and there were moments where he was trying to play the victim and gain sympathy from others. Before we go into any further detail, I want to mention a situation that Rain had a major part in. A person by the name of Saucity had worked with Rain and co. to get their podcast onto Spotify and onto Google Podcasts, essentially micromanaging them. There was a point that Saucity had said to Mango that she wasn't doing YouTube full-time because she wasn't making money. Prior to that, there were even clips of them saying that he would be in an episode of their podcast.
Mango, shut. Falsely copy strike him.
We gotta shout out Saucity. Shut the fuck up. One thing we actually have to...
We're having him in a whole episode. We're having him in a whole episode. We're having him in a whole episode.
Saucity had stated that he wasn't doing it because he liked them, rather he was thinking it would be good for business. That's when Rain decided to blast him, linking their private DMs. A few things to note: there isn't anything wrong with doing things strictly for business, but linking DMs for petty reasons such as these on a whim is really scummy. I asked Saucity for his official statement, and he said, "I think it was incredibly immature and wasn't needed," when referring to leaking the DMs. I wanted a working relationship, and I felt I made that clear from the start. They wanted an actual friendship, and I told them it wasn't in my best interest. It was blown out of proportion, and they were way too childish to be doing YouTube if they can't accept work relationships over friendships. It's worth noting that Turkey Tom called Rain out on his bullshit at one point. It was after that Rain spoke out and released a tweet saying he was leaving. He said many times that he was leaving both Twitter and the commentary community, and yet his words have meant nothing, as he would come back time after time. At this point, it's also important to note that the only two people who were still supporting him were Flex and Neon Mango. However, like many others in Rain's past, the bridges would get burnt shortly afterward. The two people mentioned were friendly toward Rain and wanted to believe he wouldn't lie about something as serious as rape. Mango had began a relationship with another YouTuber, and Rain became very jealous of this. There was even a point that they were worried that Rain may dox a boyfriend. They reached a point that even the last two people who supported Rain were finally done with this bullshit. So at this point, Rain has lied about having a heart attack, leaked private DMs, lied about meeting, dating, being drugged, and taken advantage of. But what if I told you he has weaponized the threat of suicide on more than one occasion? Here in the tweet, Flex states that Rain sent such a message to Mango. And the message says, "Here's the question they have. What if I ended up game ending myself? What would you actually do?" Not only did he do that in this situation, he also did it here in a message to someone else. Don't be surprised when I block all of them, and don't let them be surprised when I potentially kill myself. So at this point, he has taken and weaponized the idea of taking his own life. Evidence had piled up, ensuring that Rain was obviously lying about his story. His story constantly changing made that very clear. The final nail in the coffin, however, was when his past friends were able to finally get him to admit to his lies on stream.
Is there anything else that you have done, lied about, scummed through, you know, that sort of shit, that you haven't brought up that you would like to now? Because if it does come out later, it will be a lot worse.
Did people really call your house?
Yeah,
recently.
that's real.
Okay.
Okay.
Surge Lad Flex DMs.
Yeah, I actually want to ask you something, Rain.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't hear, I have dozed off. You said that Leo the kitty raped you, but you never met, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We only flirted in DMs.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Following that, he posted to Twitter admitting to his lies. Okay, a few things to note here. In his apology, he addresses the Lou Kitty rape allegations twice, but he minimizes what actually happened. I mean, he briefly talks about it, and after that, I mean, he basically spends the rest of his apology talking about how he is, like, wronged others. There's no excuse for what I've done and have been doing. I've been lying to all of you for a long time now. I've lied about my heart attack back in March. I've lied about being taken advantage of by Lou the kitty. And I've messed up in so many ways to so many people, and I am deeply, deeply sorry to anyone I have hurt and betrayed this year. See, here he's saying he lied about being taken advantage of, when in reality he lied about dating, meeting up, being drugged. I mean, it's so more complex than like the way that he stated it. I've been a coward, and I've been manipulating people with sympathy to distract everyone from the drama I was dealing with at certain times. And I have no excuse for doing that. See, what he's saying here is that, like, I mean, he admits to lying to many, many people about, like, this allegation, or lying in a way to make them feel sorry for him and gain sympathy. What I did was absolutely scummy and wrong, I don't want to keep running away from my problems. I want to confront them and solve them. I have betrayed many people's trust and flat out lied to them. I lied about my intentions with the hate account. I lied about meeting up with Lou the kitty. Here's the other time when he mentions Lou the kitty. And he just says, I lied about meeting up with Lou. I mean, we know that it's so much more than that. He lied about dating her. He lied about having sex with her. He lied about being drugged and taken advantage by her. I've lied about Mango treating me poorly when her and I were friends. She was one of the greatest friends I ever had, and I screwed over our friendship. She never deserved the treatment I gave her when we were close friends, and I am very sorry. I'm not going to sit here and hide under mental illness, but I will let you all know that I am going to therapy and will take steps to improve myself and not mess up again. I don't want to hurt any more people. I want to have a fresh start, and I want to be a better, more improved person. I will be inactive on social media until I feel better and more comfortable coming back on. But for now, I need to start taking actions and make up for the damages I've caused. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you soon. Raintism. Make no mistake, I make jokes and memes to try to entertain, but this situation is no laughing matter. Someone throwing around such allegations on a whim without a second thought is messed up. He said that they floated in DMs. In what reality does that equal dating, having sex, or being drugged and taken advantage of? Someone making up lies to garner sympathy is not only screwed up, but it hurts actual victims. With his story suddenly changed and him taking on the role of the victim, it was much harder for people to criticize him at the time. Many people asked him to just provide proof that would back up his claims, and he failed to do so. Nobody wants to call out someone over such serious subject matter, even if there's a 1% chance of getting the story wrong. To go from bragging about a lie to change the lie and play victim to it, he was willing to do whatever it took to gain sympathy from the situation, even if that meant hurting actual victims in the process. This guy should not be an influencer, and from his past actions we should note that this guy could never be trusted with any form of power. Everything about his upbringing was plagued with nothing but lies, many of which are very serious accusations. The biggest takeaway I want you guys to have from this is that when you lie about something as serious as rape, you inadvertently hurt and discredit the people who are actually involved in such horrific acts. By using a lie to garner sympathy, you hurt and discredit anyone who wants to speak out on a situation where people were actually hurt. How could anyone ever believe someone who lied about such a serious accusation? Also, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.